Oh boy, time for another monthly update of the JP tier list. I actually was gonna wait until next week. Um, oh, next week, because this week, next patch will be a dead week, and the next one should be a banner. But because we already have 5 units to rank here, let's just rank them now. Put this as like a zero collab type of tier list, and then move on, get the next one next month, and see if we get a festival next month, a Holy War festival, how that will go. But for now, we got Hawk and Oslo and the 4 collab characters. I'm assuming most of y'all should know where these characters are going if you've seen any other videos recently. But before we get into it, I actually have some characters I want to move. So I do want to move down, and this hurts me, but I do want to move down Mark II Valenti. After Merlin's release, it's impossible to use Mark II Valenti. She is completely useless on ungeared because she doesn't get the boost from crew resistance from like a extra gear. She's not useless, she's okay. And then on geared, I'm telling you, Merlins are everywhere. Like every I want to say 7 out of 10 matches you play, you face a Merlin right now on Champions on PvP. You do not stand a chance if you face Merlin. Because of the way that Valenti is kitted and everything, you just do not stand a chance if you face Merlin. You are going to lose. So I just have to put her down because of that. It really sucks because I really like Valenti, but it's just unfortunate. It's just how it is. I do want to move up Red Gelfer. Now if, you know, moving out of the meta of needing to proc Green Gopher's passive to actually have a cohesive team, Red Gopher with attack ceiling become really good. Again, a boost that Merlin's also providing, just because Merlin and the new unidentified characters release, and just also the fact that no one runs clans, it's almost like impossible to run into a clans. Sometimes you see, sometimes some Blue Skinny Kings, it's incredibly rare, but it's just impossible basically to find a cleanse character in PvP these days. Attack ceiling is really good. The only thing that kind of cucks it is really the one Escanor, but that's about it, because the one becomes immune on turn 3, which it's incredibly common. It's like a true turn, basically, immunity, because on turn 2 already, if you attack seal him, next turn he becomes immune, right? And then on that turn, he can't be attack sealed either. So it's basically a true turn immunity, which happens basically every single match. So that's the only thing that cucks Gelfer, but that's about it. One character I also want to put down is Kyo. After the Super Awakening 5 release, Kyo got some of the worst stats I've ever seen. And these days, it's really impossible to run Kyo and, you know, have a cohesive team, because you are going to face the one 9 out of 10 matches. 9.8 out of 10 matches. That's mathematically impossible, but I'm telling you, it's how it is. And Kyo gets one-shotted by level 1 Escanor card. It's just very sad, but it's true. I also put down Valencia. I don't know why she was so high. And I want to put up Blue Derriere all the way up to the God tier. She has the, was it the 3rd highest CC in the game? No, 5th highest CC in the game now after Super Awakening 5. So if you give her HP defense and you put her on the Assault Melee team, that's really good CC boost for your Assault Melee team. And the build with her and of course Melascula, or her and Drow, is fantastic. I also want to put up Melascula. Melascula has proven to be a very useful unit recently, not only with Assault Melee, but in this new tower stage, you can tell, like, they designed the stage where you have to use Melascula, and you can tell how Melascula is just really helpful in general with that cheese passive that she has. I think when, you know, the devs make content, they don't think you're actually going to use that passive, and I don't think they even think of a way around it, so it's just very useful in general. And was there anyone else I wanted to move? I was thinking of putting down Lilia, and I think I will. Lilia is completely useless in PvP. Honestly, the only use I really have for her is super bosses sometimes, where she's actually really good for point making, but not really good for farming. And Pierce, I guess, is still decent for farming, but we have so many better options now. Sauriel is just a much better building than Meliodas. And Lost Vein, I think, is just, if you use Lost Vein, Sauriel, and the one, it's like you know, caveman, I hit hard type team, but it still works, and it definitely farms faster than Pierce team, even with Rugal. So I have to put down Lily as well. A lot of changes here, but honestly, because I think Lily should be put down much earlier. And I think that's it. There's not really much else going on. I thought with Super Awakening 5, maybe I would have, changed this a lot. But really, there wasn't that big of a difference. Again, the biggest difference was they really buffed Blue Derriere with that Super Awakening 5. I mean, she already had decently high CC, but that really was like the last drop to make her like really good, because that CC increase was really big. And I think that's it. I could maybe put down Mai as well. Yeah, probably, because these days you really can't use her anymore. Her literal only use is PvP, and you can't really run her. I mean, if you're running like low, ranking in PvP, she could probably still work. But let's get to the unions finally. So Hawk and Oslo. Hawk and Oslo struggles to find a place in the game. In general, they're a fun unit, and the only way you actually physically can viably use them in PvP is if you have them 6/6. Their ultimate really only works at 6/6. Just pulling them up real quick, which is unfortunate because yeah, it goes from right. So they even have here on Request database, but their ultimate is, if there are 2 more enemies, expels target for 1 turn, but at 6/6 that becomes 2 turns, and that difference is insane. But with so many characters in the game that have ultimates that kill the whole team, basically, the one has an ultimate that, if you have him 6/6, he kills 2 characters. And yeah, but you have to have him 6/6. Well, we have to have this guy 6/6 as well, and this guy is arguably harder to 6/6 than the one. Have they come back on global yet? I don't know. They are an exclusive character, so if you don't 6/6 them on their initial banner, which already happened, you don't even know when they're gonna come back for you to 6/6 them. So it's really rough for them, and they do take off ultimate gauge. They're red, that doesn't help. The most overused character in the game is blue. Well, sorry, most overused DPS I mean, the most overused character in the game is Goddess Liz. After that is the one probably, or any variation of Gopher. But the most commonly used DPS unit in the game is Blue Escanor, which is blue. So that doesn't help Hawk and Oslo. So I'm gonna have to give them a B tier. Now I'm gonna be nicer. I'm gonna give them an A tier. They're decent. Like, they don't have any place in PvE. Their ultimate is okay for PvE. Just in general, taking off a enemy from the field is much more impactful in PvP than it is in PvE. But again, you only really want to use him if he's 6/6. Literally only if he's 6/6. And on top of that, you really can't use him in PvP, because let's say you go second, again, one-shotted by an Escanor level 1. It's just, the one just completely, destroys them. It's like, oh, it's just the one. The one's in every team. Like, you can think, oh, people, sometimes you face different teams. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. It's just, people overuse the one, and it's just how it is. The best team, well, what can you do? Now to the collab characters, and I'm very pleased with the majority of the collab characters. Let's open them all up. People are gonna ask, what do I think is the best collab character? It's definitely between Amelia and Ram. It literally depends on who you face. If you're facing someone that has a really good Escanor, definitely Amelia. If you're playing ungeared, same thing. If you face someone that has a really good Escanor, definitely Amelia. But if you face someone that either is using a Merlin with their Escanor, because a lot of people are also switching to using Red Gopher, Merlin the one with Goddess Liz in the back. That's one of the most common teams right now. So if you're running into that team, Ram is definitely better. You can take off the one in one hit. Like, you may think, oh, but the one's blue. Ram is just an insane DPS unit. If they're using Goddess Liz though in the front with the one, definitely Amelia. You can freeze them until you can freeze Escanor until turn 3, right? So definitely Emilia, but the thing is that Emilia does need dupes, while Ram does not. So that's a big difference there. And with the rates being so low, I'm gonna expect the majority of y'all that do summon for the ReZero banner are not just gonna 6-6 Emilia. 0.25, again, it literally took me 3,000 gems to pull one copy of Emilia. I'm not exaggerating. It took me 3,000 gems to pull, not exactly 3,000, like 2,960 gems to pull one copy of Emilia. No, 2,940. I think it was the multi before a guarantee, so 2,970, something like that. And I got one Emilia, and then I got an Emilia at 3,060, I believe. So I did 6-6 her because I got the guarantees, but you see how like harsh that banner can be. So the majority of people, Ram might be the best one. So you might know both of these characters are going to go to the god tier. They're just really stupid. Emilia, again, literally is a perfect unit, I guess. She has freeze, which is a support type of, disorienting or disruptive kind of ability. And she depletes ultimate gauge, just like Ringolfer, which is a fantastic card. She has the same ultimate as Assault. She has the same ultimate as Lost Vein Melee, one of the strongest ultimates in the game. Arguably the strongest. I don't know. I'll say maybe the one. The one is just so versatile. I don't know. And then if you attack her twice, meaning let's say an enemy uses a double AoE skill of the same character, you're gonna get frozen for 2 turns. So it's just, she has a lot going for her, while Ram is just Ooga Booga DPS. I mean, this card can be really helpful. It has saved me in a couple of situations where lowering the ultimate damage or disabling the effect of that ultimate is really helpful. But for the majority of the time, you're really going for the Ooga Booga damage of the Amplify. The healing is also nice. You can infinitely heal, technically. If the enemy takes off one ultimate gauge from you and you get another one, you just heal 30% again. So again, it's between the two of them, but I'll have, for someone that has both of them 6-6, I would say Emilia. Majority of the time is going to be better, but they're both really good. Now to Ram. Ram is surprisingly great. Like, I thought that all I was going to use her for is the increase unknown basic stats by 20%, but if you have her on the field as an actual playing character, the stuns and being able to break Goddess Liz ultimate with the Rupture is so good. The utility is actually insane for this character. The ultimate is honestly the worst part about her. Yeah, lowering attack is nice, but the multiplier is so low, 450, even at 6-6. And again, she's a free unit, by the way. She's a free unit. You get one copy of her. So I'm assuming, let's say you don't pull any copies of her on the banner, but you do get a free, copy. You're gonna have her ultimate 300%, which is so low for an ultimate, right? So she's not the greatest DPS unit, but the utility of this girl is insane. I, made a video I was using both Ram and Ram together, and it was so good. Like, this Ram carried me so hard because she would stun. I would get a left 3 stuns often. She's so good to cut Goddess Liz because you break her shield and you stun Goddess Liz to show her a piece of her own medicine, and it's amazing. I also have to give Ram the god tier. Again, these 3 characters are exceptional. They are really, really good. And now we get to Beatrice. I don't know what they were thinking. Here's the thing. I tried her out in multiple ways. I did upload a video today where I tried to use her with Merlin. I did record that video yesterday, but I will upload it today. And she was useful, I guess, but I would have much preferred having the one, instead of her. And the thing is that she's very specific. Increases the hero's HP related stats by 5% for each unknown ally. You recover HP of unknown allies by 60% of the amount the hero recovers when using skills. So she only really helps unknown. So there's a very big limit there. Yeah, they did release, 4 new unknown characters, and Merlin is very good. You have Red Gelfer. There's a plenty of good unknown units, but that is a big restriction there. And also, because Ram, yeah, she buffs unknown, and that's nice and all, but you don't need to buff unknown. It's like saying, oh, I only use Sauriel with goddesses because Sauriel buffs goddesses. No, that passive is great, and you know, she buffs herself with that passive, and also just like Sario, he also buffs himself with his own passive. That's great and all. I believe she does. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe she does buff herself with her own passive. That's great and all. The passive is there, but, you know, it's not necessary. But that's the whole point of Beatrice, is healing her teammates, because all her build is around healing. Lifesteal, Despair, which, strangely enough, she does have very high crit chance, but she would rarely crit. I don't know why. It might be something due to pierce rate, I don't know. Kabuki came up with this theory a long time ago that pierce rate does help you crit, and I don't even know if that is the case, but it seems like it is. It's just really weird. And her ultimate is a lifesteal AoE, which again, her whole point is healing allies. But that just makes her a worse Tarmiel. Like, Tarmiel doesn't necessarily heal with anything other than his ultimate, but there's that, you know? And it's just no utility, zero utility. All she does is damage, quote unquote, and she hits incredibly light. I'll do like level 3 single target cards on red units. Keep in mind, my Beatrice has all costumes, and her UR pieces are all leveled up. So she technically should be doing good. But even at that, level 3 single targets on red units would do like 40k damage. And that's nice and all on ungeared. That's nice and all. But why would I use her when I can use someone else? It's just her healing is miserably bad. And with Merlin's running around, if you don't know what Merlin does, Merlin seals your healing abilities or your healing stats. So one debuff for Merlin, and there's no point in using Beatrice's healing because it just won't work. And again, she's very common. Merlins are very common right now. It's the most... I think the most common team is still Galfer, Goddess Liz, Escanor. A lot of people are running Red Galfer with Goddess Liz and Escanor and Merlin in the back. That's very common. Or using Red Galfer, Merlin the 1 and Goddess Liz in the back, or Red Galfer, Merlin, Goddess Liz and the 1 in the back. That's just the most common combination, like these 4 characters together. And again, 1 AoE completely destroys Beatrice. So Beatrice is, I would say, one of the most useless characters I've ever seen. And for PvE, there's again no space in the game where she's good, because yeah, she can heal, but that depends on damage. And if she does no damage, she doesn't heal. So I'm gonna have to give her like a C tier or something. I don't know, like, she's really bad. She's just really, really bad. She's like millim levels of damage. And she does end up healing a decent amount, but she's just ultimately useless. So the 3 other characters are amazing though. I just really feel bad if you're summoning on the ReZero banner and you end up pulling like Beatrice over and over and over again. I believe I was summoning Speedy, and between our 2 videos, I think we pulled Beatrice like 4 or 5 times, and it was just painful. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is an update to tier list, and that's it.